What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we are going to be breaking down the other two Gen Con events. We finally got all the information in there, and I also have a giant graph of all 5 events. I will not be counting the online Friday one for DC1. Sadly, for that Gen Con event, it became a best of one with some issues and stuff like that. And once you put best of ones, the data is so skewed that it doesn't really evaluate to everybody else's level, because best of 3 is the better format, and that's kind of just how that panned out. So we have majorly finishing up these events, so remember, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with my content. I also show a lot of my stuff I own to be a content creator is down in the description down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, I will be waiting for your comments, so let's dive into this video and talk about it. So let's start it off. First off, congratulations on Brandon. You did a great job getting with D-Reapers on Thursday's Ultimate Cup, winning that grand prize of all those amazing Ultimate Cup prizing. So that's really awesome here. We have Imperial Dramon as well, Maste, Wargreymon X. Jess, Metal Groomon X seems to be the only deck eluding everybody right now that I've noticed. So if Jess, you are watching this video, I would love to see your deck profile. I can add it up later, but for now, this is basically Jess top twice this weekend, once on Thursday and once on Sunday, but his deck list isn't shown, but that's understandable. We have Ariel. Congrats on Commandramon topping, being the highest Commandramon player in all weekend. Taking 6th place is no joke. That is congratulations. Hats off to you. Jonathan with Grandis being 7th. Bradley with D-Reaper. Nathan with Gaiomon. Really good job on the Gaio run. Noah with Blue Hybrid being the only Blue Hybrid player, which I would call it more like Magna Garurumon deck instead of Blue Hybrid, but that is what it is. Fernando got Security Control. Stefan had Alphamon. Terry got Alphamon, Ryan got Metal Garurumon X, Sam got Alpha, and Ezekiel got Armor Rush. That's not bad for a good run this weekend. I think that's pretty solid there. And now let's take a look at Sundays. Mario taking on Red Hybrid, getting that W yet again with his Red Hybrid. David, Metal Garurumon X, Robert, Metal Garurumon X, Tommy, Alphamon, Jason, Imperial Dramon, Stefan, Alphamon, Jesse with Metal Garurumon X, Tyler, Seer, Beelzemon, Bellastar. Congratulations being the only Bellastar player of the event to actually make it in the top 16 of any of the events. So congratulations there. And then you have Jeremiah with Imperial Dramon, Grayson with Alphamon, Christopher with Wargreymon X, Dang Bang with his Imperial Dramon deck. That is top tier stuff there. Benjamin with Metal Garurumon X, Alvin with Commandramon, Fernando with Alphamon, and Biao, person that got 16th, D-Reaper. Congratulations on all that did extremely well. This is very impressive to see, and let's see what these decks looked like, shall we? So first off, let's talk about Friday's event. This was the D-Reaper list, and what's surprising everybody right now was there's no splash of yellow, which is beyond me, because if you face purple with a Psychmon, what is your out and hope that you survive? I mean, unless they give you enough to be able to play Pleiades Head, but you're not even playing a Pleiades Head, so I don't get it. I get where you're coming from. Your list is fantastic. I know there was a video on Mario's channel that showed off a more in-depth explanation, but very impressive. I mean, your run is no joke. 20 searchers, Pendulum Feet to search out the searchers and get to stuff, Bubbles to speed up Mom, Jerry to speed up Mom. We have Creepan to block anything that's trying to come at our face. Really is useful. I think I might bump up another Creepans in my list, just because sometimes you just need that little bit of blocker to survive a turn. Horn Striker is giving you rush to get into that lethal. Gatekeeper shutting down your opponent's plays. Reaper being Reaper. You know the drill there. X Antibody is just being X Antibody. Mother D Reaper is being Mother D Reaper, and then Death X to control that board and keep it sweet and simple. All in all, great competitive play here. I think this was very solid, top tier here. Then we have none other than Mario's list from Sunday. This is Ancient Greymon, Ancient Greymon, still fantastic of a deck because you build up and raising. Everybody's in this style of format. It's basically who gets to the OTK first, and your hopes and prayers are that you have a Gaia Force or a Crimson Blaze to deal with most threats in your security. So that's just kind of how this is going to pan out. Like Lightning Joust being Lightning Joust, giving you those extra security checks. Blitz Omni for after you end up hitting with Ancient Greymon. It gets ridiculous pretty quick. Analog Youth, Heroes. I mean, you hit magic numbers with all this, and it just gets ridiculous pretty quickly. I think all in all, great competitive play, great strengths. Everybody played to their best abilities they could, and I think that's how this should pan out. I mean, I can't believe Red Hybrid took W on Sunday. That is just me, though. We have the Security Con list here. The 11th place. What I found very interesting on this list, it actually ran Ultimate Flare in its list with Izzy, which surprised me because most lists don't even tech that in, but I can see where the benefit is there. Because if they hit Ultimate Flare, that means their big boss Digimon is no longer a big boss, and that could mean easier removal later, or even just a solid board wipe against wide boards. Because if you don't get to Death Xmon, at least Ultimate Flare can answer a little bit of those problems, and that could lead you to game wins there. So I kind of see where it's coming from, especially with Izzy. The old-fashioned tactic is play Izzy, manipulate the top, even though it will pass turn, but you'll know what you're going to be recovering next, which could lead to some crazy shenanigans, actually. So I see where it's coming from. Great job pulling it off. You know, the Avenge Kidmon package to cycle back all your options really does help out. And then taxing your opponent with Mimis and Karis, so if they hit you, it's going to cost them. And then with Mimi, if they play an option and you haven't rested her for your options, great power play here because now it passes to your turn. But also there are potentials with other options as well. So I see where this win can come from. You know, you got Gallantmon Crimson Mode, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP. Trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Add one number of cards trash. Buy this effect for every 10 cards in your opponent's graveyard. So how this is going to pan out is just how you always deal with Crimson Mode. You know, this is your game finisher. You finally have something in that tower. So definitely see Viximon being the go-to option draw, because sometimes you just need a little extra draw to get to more pieces. So constant recovery, stuff like that. Flame Hellscythe, just being able to spam your Magna Angemon back really does help out. Chaos Degradation being Chaos Degradation. Wyvern's Breath, minusing that big boss off the field. Holy Wave, more options to get back in. Blade of Truth, drawing new cards. Calling from Darkness to recycle back Junomon or Death X. Sukuyamon just keeps the OTK from killing you. But all in all, great tax build. We got Imperial Dramon. This was our second place Thursday event. So let's take a little look here. We got Hammer Sparks, Megadeth, Hidden Potential Discover. You know the drill with this deck. Most of the time it's just swinging when jamming. And since we're not in a heavy option format, the only deck that really hinders this is Bellastar and our #1 Security Con. So Yellow Hybrid being out of the format means this deck doesn't have as much worry as it used to, because that was really what slowed this deck down, was because after you went combo, they could just climb up, remove your threat, and not care about it. And that was really devastating for you as a player, because now your whole push is gone and you don't have a way out of it, because again, they played really powerful options in their yellow-red hybrid builds. I mean, you have Ice Walls, you got the Davis and Ken for combo, you know, Davis, the Search, and just a lot of, you got Lobomon to Digivolve on your Tamers, you got Labramon for draw, Modoki Betas to shut down memory gain. All these good shenanigans. No Demi-Vmon to be Demi-Vmon. Really solid here. And now let's talk about the blue hybrid build. So this is Magna Garurumon. We know this deck like the back of our hand here. This deck is all about anytime you add a card into your hand, you get to do a little bit of a restand, add some value to yourself. And this card also can bounce same level Digimon. So this card is just going to combo out pretty quickly. What this deck is also even doing, it's playing one Tommy because of the restriction, and it doesn't really care as much. But it also introduced Matt and Sora in the list, because if you have 6 or more cards in your hand, gain 1 memory. If your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, sorry, they're both 8 or more, you gain 2 memory. And then when one of your blue or red Digimon becomes unsuspended, you may suspend this tamer to return one of your opponent's level 3s to their owner's hand. So those memory pesky blockers, anything they want to try to slow you down with, get it off the board. You have no issues there. And then you have Koji being Koji. This is what enables you to warp into Magna Guru if you draw enough. And, you know, you got the Korikaku to go with the Tommy, the Kumamon to strip. If they don't have anything like X antibody underneath it, you can punish them for it. Howling Memboost to hopefully stun something. Beowulf, you know the drill here. You're going to Digivolve for 1, bounce something, get resources back. Surprised on the Leomon without a Jerry, but it is really powerful because on deletion, gain 2 memory, draw a card. That can punish a lot of decks that way, especially like, you know, War Greymon who's swinging in. If this is a blocker on board, this pops. This could instantly pass turn on them, and they don't get any extra security checks and stuff like that. So it really does help out, keep your memento going, and I think this is a very solid list. I have no objections here. What do you guys think? Now we have on to Mastermind. Yes, Thursday is going to be like the bigger one because I took the top deck of each one wherever it placed the highest, and Thursday had the most, like diversity-wise. We're looking at Demi-Mera with no Psychmon, by the way. I noticed that. No Psychmon at all. We're going full send on Meikumon. Well, going with Mako to keep it, at least gain us more momentum and power. But we're going like Mako into Maycrackmon. And then Magna Angemon, Lucemon Chaos Mode to pop level 6 stuff. Lady Deva being Lady Deva. Angewolmon for when your opponent's Digimon gains -2 security checks. That's really nasty against certain plays because if they hit the Flame Hell Scythe at the right time, you can just minus the 2 DP and not care. Their OTKs kind of shut off there. You have like Fall Down Mode, Mastemon, 4 Omnimon Zort Defeat. It seems like they didn't want to play any Death X's. They didn't want to do anything but straight up gas here. This is basically punish them for playing the game, and you're just going to go wide on them and punish them hard for it. So I kind of see where this is going, and very high probabilities of winning with this. I kind of, congratulations getting 3rd place with this spice of the list. Nobody else has played it like this. So I see what they're trying to do, and I give props. Next, we do have Gaiomon actually taking 9th place on Thursday. That's really impressive to me. Gaio has been like the underdog of this format, and it is basically your answer to Mama. And as long as you have an answer to Mama, that's basically what you're going to deal with. There's just sometimes you just need a deck that can just answer Tamers or Mama. And that's just what you're going to be doing with, you know, Black War Greymon and stuff like that. It's just very powerful all-arounder, and I'm very proud to see these lists. Gaia Force in this just because you need option killing in your security stack, and sometimes that's all you need. You got like Metal Greymon here, you got Greymon here, you know, Koromon being Koromons to draw you cards. This one gives you the extra boost. Agumon Searchers, Power Boost Agumons, Blocker Greymon, Greymon that reduces and gives power here. X Antibody because protection is huge this format. Greymon gives extra security checks. Metal Greymon de-digivolving and then popping a 3000 DP. Metal Greymon X Antibody, that extra security check's nasty. And this is basically your Tamer Killer. And all in all, great list and well-rounded. I think there's nothing wrong with this list, and it just applies so much pressure. We have Red, Green, Grandis, aka. So this, we know what this deck does. Basically, build big stack, Digiburst everything else but the Piercer, swing in, unsuspend himself, basically apply opponent death threat here. Just kill your opponent. Your opponent's not going to deal with it, especially in the option heavy formats. You can just go hero down with ADP. And then what your opponent really going to do, if you don't face heavy security control, and then, you know, the decks like our good friend, what is it? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. What is the deck I'm thinking about here? Security control, and then maybe a few other decks. I forget what deck this deck folds to. It's any deck that has really heavy security or way of de-digivolving your Grandis off board. So, I mean, outside of that, there's nothing too crazy to talk about here. I mean, it's just going to OTK you, and it's just linear at best. And then we got Commander Mons taking up 6th place, the highest Commander Mon player of all weekend. And I give props. I love the list, by the way. Very, very powerful card choices. I love the mat, actually, because this being able to bring back your Death X after it died is clutch. So I kind of see where you're going with it. Got, like, Chichurimon, being able to de-digivolve your opponent's stuff. Ultimate Flares, Iron Fist Onslaught. Just punishing options that really make your opponent regret playing. Pride Memory Boost. Kongu. You know the drill here. It's just very powerful. Commandramon just applies so much pressure constantly. You got like Rumblemon here. You know, just all in all good stuff. Pagus, Mishi. So I think this, out of all the lists here, I think this is probably the strongest version just because of how far it went. I don't know his matchups, and I wish I do. If you are watching this video, let me know what your matchups were. Next, we do have 4th place Thursday, War Greymon X Antibody. This deck is crazy shenanigans. It OTKs like nobody's business. This deck applies so much pressure, and constant threat analysis is with it. I love the Agunimon for digivolving on top of your ties for games. Sometimes that's all you need, especially since you gain so much memory back. It's not even funny. Blitz Omni for game. Omnimon X Antibody, just all that good stuff. You know, War Greymons to shut off options. I mean, the Bridge Gap is really good. I mean, he's just really in here for that extra security check as well. So, I mean, the deck's not going anywhere. I love the Gaia Force 0 as an option. Making a 6 cost really does help out. But delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP, then one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name may attack your opponent. Doesn't unsuspend, but it at least gives you another attack. So, not terrible of a trade-off there. I think that's really powerful. Gives you extra push damage. Looking at Tyler's Beelzestar list. I mean, Bellastar. All in all, great stuff. One Psychmon for probably the Deep Reapers. Gazi's just being Gazi. Digivolve for Gazi X. You know, Gabumon being able to extend its plays. I love the Ogremon giving that extra security. You got Dobermon in this house, just because milling and getting your Tamer back really does help out. Well, to be honest with you, you're just getting your purple Digimon, so Bellastar, Deathstar, Death X, stuff like that. And we got Eismon Scatter Mode for that draw advantage. Howling Crusher just to remove sources underneath, because that sometimes is all you need to get to game. Kikaida's Breath to bounce your opponent's threats off board. Fly Bullet, you know, shutting down your opponent. Calling from Darkness, all you need to do is pop and search. We got Miss Mem Boost, Death Claw, Nail Bone, Happy Bullet Shower, and then, you know, Kiyoshiro. This card basically lets you draw with your, you know, level 5s or higher on board, so Beelzestar or Death X will constantly draw you cards, at least with a 1-card advantage that can extend our plays. Really does help out. We have Alphamon up in here. This was 4th place Sunday, the highest Alphamon of this tournament. Really good. You know, Alphamon's going to just do what Alphamon does. The deck basically, this is kind of new staple here. 4 Cool Boy, 3 UJ, 1 Coda, 2 Black Memboost, 2 Congos, Breath of the Gods, all great powerful options. And Tamer lineup is just kind of solid here. I don't see very much variations in this. The only variations I see is probably in the Ultimate line, where you have Dex Durogreymon bringing in for Grademon. That's kind of what you're going to be doing here. So that's just what you're searching for. And you got Durogreymons, just added pressure applying to your opponent. And then our highest Metal Garurumon of the weekend was 2nd place here, well, of Sunday's event. So, I mean, the deck is quite simple. You got 2 Hammerspark, Blue Memboost. I'm surprised. I'm noticing more and more lists are going to adding 2 Hammerspark, because it's either 2 Hammersparks or 2 Kaitis Breaths just to start bouncing or removing threats off board. It makes sense. There's just sometimes you just need that added buffer. And I noticed that they also have been doing Madoki Beta for the Alphamon matchup, especially if you can get 2 Madoki Betas on board before they are ready. They can't always remove both, and now they're not gaining that crazy amount of advantage that they were. They're going to have to rely on their Tamers. That's not always a great viable option. So, all in all, you know what you need with this deck. You need the Were Garurumon promo, and you need the Garurumon promo. If you do not have this, you're in hot water, to be honest with you. The deck is very unplayable and unstable. So guys, what do you think of these deck lists? Let me know down in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you like this, let me know. I really try to get these out when I see these lists. I am one of very few people that can get their hands on it, I think. But I'm hopefully enjoying this. Guys, remember, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace!